Hello, functional family. This is Professor Z, and today we're going to talk about sleep. And I'm going to use my app to kind of go through sleep cycles, the different things to monitor through sleep. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Ultra Human, which is my ring that I have. And this is what comes up when I have my app open to sleep, and you can see right in the middle it gives me a sleep score of 93. Why is it important to have an app? Why is it important to wear a tracker for sleep? It gives us a lot of information about how we are doing with our sleep patterns, our sleep cycles, if we're getting into deep sleep, if we're getting into REM sleep, if our temperature is increasing, if we're tossing and turning a lot throughout the night, if our heart rate, doesn't go down until the end of the night because we're stimulated when we go to bed. It does give us a lot of good information. So we're going to run through that information just really quickly so you can understand why it's kind of a good idea to have these trackers. So I'm going to open up my sleep app, and at the very top, it just shows me, it gives me a sleep index. And the sleep index, what it does is it combines the contributors here. So the temperature, restfulness, consistency, total sleep, heart rate drop, timing, and restorative time. So it takes all these factors in and it monitors different parts. It monitors different things with me. So like for my movement, it monitors my temperature, my heart rate, and monitors my sleep cycles. So the sleep index just gives me a general idea of how I'm doing, if I'm staying steady, if there's big drops. It just helps me to keep track of that type of thing. So I'm going to go down, and we're going to look at one important thing to look at is sleep stages. So there's four things to monitor with your sleep stage, and one is awake. Did you become awake? Your REM sleep, and that's rapid eye movement sleep. And that's actually what happens. Your eyes actually move side to side. And this is when the brain goes into a time of kind of processing the information that's coming throughout the day. So what I like to tell my students is that throughout the day when they study for their exams, they're bringing all kinds of information to their brain. And then when you go to sleep at night, if you get a lot of REM sleep that particular night, your brain can process it and store it in the correct files in the brain where it needs to go, so then it can be pulled out, for that next test or something like that. So I'm going to drop down to deep sleep. Deep sleep is a really important time when you're sleeping. This is when your body is the most relaxed, where the processes have slowed down the most, and your parasympathetic nervous system is working the most. And what happens in this time is the brain needs time for all the toxins to be cleared out of the brain, because there's a buildup of just different things, different toxins, different residues from the brain. And so we need to get in and flush all that stuff out. And so the deep sleep is a time that the brain actually can do that. It's the only time it can really do that. And deep sleep is also a real restorative time for the rest of our body. So light sleep is a restorative time, and the body's processes will repair. Deep sleep, it's a little bit more. So anyway, so we have awake, sleep, REM sleep, light sleep, and deep sleep. So if we go down to the little graph here, at the very top in the white, that's when I was awake, and at the very bottom was when I was in deep sleep. And then light sleep is going to be kind of that, I guess would be the lighter green, and then almost the fluorescent green is the REM sleep. So a sleep cycle is when you go from light sleep, dropping to deep sleep, or to deep sleep, and then you go to REM sleep, and then you go to light sleep. So you need to go through all of those: light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, and then back to light sleep. And when you go through all four of those, that consists of a sleep cycle. So another neat thing that's tracked on many of the devices is your heart rate. And if you can see here, my heart rate was lowest just after midnight. And that's kind of when I want it. I want my heart rate to get as low as possible, as early as possible when I go to sleep, because that means my body is completely ready to go to sleep. It's when I go to bed. So for instance, if I watch a movie that has a lot of, action, and it really kind of gets me riled up, and then I go to bed, my heart rate will be higher, and it'll take a lot longer for it to drop down to its lowest point. So this just kind of tells me if my body is working, if it can get into that low heart rate quickly. And if it doesn't, that means I need to evaluate what I did when I went to sleep. Did I drink alcohol? Did I have caffeine early or in the evening? Did I, watch a movie? Was I stressed when I went to bed? So heart rate's important, and it gives us that information. And then tosses and turns is also important. So how many times did I wake up throughout the night? And we want to get the tosses and turns down to as little as possible. And then temperature is important. And we just want to make sure our temperature maintains, over the course of days. We don't want it to fluctuate, have large fluctuations, because that does mean that our body is trying to maybe our body's going through extra stresses, and it's trying to maybe fight infection or something like that. So it gives us good information on that. So sleep trackers are a really good tool to use just to kind of give us some basic information on how we're doing when we sleep, how much deep sleep we're getting, how low our heart rate gets, our temperature. Some of it has oxygen saturation rates throughout the night too, to see if you're going into sleep apnea. So this is really good information to have about your sleep. So get that sleep tracker and start working on your sleep.